Part 1. A Restless Night. It was around midnight, on the outskirts of a quiet town in Kansas. Most houses had their lights off and families were asleep. But one small house still glowed with light. Inside lived 23-year-old Emily Carter, recently relocated from the city. Emily couldn't sleep. She lay awake thinking about her life. After her mother fell seriously ill and her father walked out on them years ago, she had been left to fend for herself. Rural life was far different from what she was used to. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door. "Who could it be at this hour?" she whispered, slightly frightened. Peeking through the curtain, she saw a young man collapsed on her porch, bloody, bruised, and barely conscious. Emily rushed to open the door. "Help, please," the man murmured. Without hesitation, Emily pulled him inside. She cleaned his wounds and gave him water. "What's your name?" "I'm Jason Miller," he replied weakly. "Someone's after me. I barely escaped." Part 2. A Dangerous Secret. Jason stayed in her house for 3 days. During that time, Emily took care of him, and slowly, he began to open up. "I'm a software engineer. A few weeks ago, I discovered some high-level government files, evidence of a major corruption scandal. I didn't mean to, but once I saw it, I became a target." Emily was stunned. "Are you saying you're being hunted by people in the government?" Jason nodded gravely. "If they find me, I'm done. I just needed one safe place, one person to believe me." Emily hesitated, but seeing the sincerity in his eyes, she made her decision. "You're safe here, but we can't stay quiet forever. This needs to go public." Jason shook his head. "It's not that easy, but with your help, maybe it's possible." Part 3. The shadows close in. On the 5th night, a black SUV pulled up outside the house. Jason looked out the window. "They found me." Emily felt her heart race. But instead of hiding, she grabbed her phone and went live on social media. She recorded the suspicious vehicle, the men stepping out, and their attempt to break in. The live feed exploded. Within minutes, the video spread. Journalists picked it up, human rights activists reposted it, and people started watching from around the world. Jason saw the opportunity. With Emily by his side, he uploaded the encrypted documents to a public platform and exposed everything. Names, crimes, proof. Part 4. Truth Wins. The scandal rocked the nation. Several high-profile officials were arrested. Jason was granted legal protection under whistleblower laws. As for Emily, she became a national figure of courage, an ordinary woman who took extraordinary risks. Jason turned to her one quiet morning, now safe for the first time in months. "If you hadn't opened that door that night, I wouldn't be here. You saved my life, Emily." Together, they started an organization dedicated to truth and transparency in government. Emily became its director, Jason, its lead tech advisor. And every time someone asked why she did it, Emily would simply say, "Because no one deserves to fight alone." Midnight Rescue. Part 5. The Hearing. 2 months had passed since the files went public. Jason's evidence had sparked outrage, national protests, and the resignation of a senator. But the real battle was just beginning. Emily stood at the steps of the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C., her heart pounding. Jason was beside her, wearing a plain gray suit, but his face carried the weight of every secret he had uncovered. Inside the courtroom, government lawyers tried to discredit him. They called him a rogue hacker, a security threat, and even a traitor. Jason remained calm. Then Emily took the stand. "I was there when he showed me the files. He didn't leak them for fame or fortune. He did it because the truth mattered. And I saw with my own eyes what he found was real." Her voice echoed in the silent chamber. The judge looked over his glasses, taking notes. The prosecutor asked sharply, "Ms. Carter, are you a cybersecurity expert?" Emily didn't flinch. "No, I'm not. I'm a teacher. But I know the difference between someone running from guilt and someone running from danger." Jason was hunted, and I helped him because I knew he was right. The courtroom murmured. The judge leaned forward. "Ms. Carter, do you understand what it means to interfere with a federal investigation?" "Yes, Your Honor. It means doing the right thing, even when it's dangerous." Part 6. A Nation Watching. Outside, thousands were watching the live feed. Emily and Jason had become symbols, not just of whistleblowing, but of courage. Talk shows, college debates, even international media, everyone had an opinion. Some called Jason a hero. Others said he was reckless. But what no one knew was that deeper secrets were still hidden in the files, things Jason hadn't released yet. One night, as they sat in Emily's small apartment in D.C., Jason opened a folder marked Project Phoenix. "I've been waiting to show you this," he said. "This one is bigger than all the others." The documents were terrifying. Evidence of illegal surveillance on citizens, experimental tech used without consent, and a secret government task force called Unit 17, trained to erase all evidence. Emily looked up from the screen, her face pale. "They'll come after us again." Jason nodded. "And this time, they won't stop at threats." Part 7. The chase begins. 3 days after Emily and Jason discovered Project Phoenix, they noticed something strange. Their apartment window had a bullet hole. Their car tires had been slashed. And worse, Jason's encrypted laptop had been tampered with. "They found us," Jason whispered. Emily felt her hands tremble. They packed what little they had and left D.C. that night, using cash and burner phones. Jason contacted an old friend from college, Noah Green, now a journalist at a small independent outlet in Boston. Noah agreed to meet them in secret. "If this is what you say it is," Noah said, scanning the files, "this could destroy careers, entire agencies. But they'll come for you, harder than ever." Jason nodded. "We're past the point of no return." Part 8. Unit 17. Far away, in a high-security facility, Commander Elise Roman of Unit 17 read the report. Target: Jason Miller. Location: unknown. Objective: terminate. Destroy all files. She didn't ask questions. She gave orders. Unit 17 agents were elite, off-the-books government enforcers. No names. No legal restrictions. Their motto: erase the source. Burn the evidence. By the time Jason and Emily reached Boston, Unit 17 was already tracking them. Part 9. The Trap. Jason and Emily met Noah in a rundown print shop in Cambridge. There, they copied the Project Phoenix files onto multiple drives and placed them into safe deposit boxes across the city. "We can't let them kill this story," Emily said. "If anything happens to us, the world still needs to see the truth." But that night, they were ambushed. 3 agents from Unit 17 cornered them in an alley behind their motel. Jason grabbed Emily's hand, and they ran. Gunshots echoed through the alley. Emily dubbed behind a dumpster. Jason returned fire with a pistol he bought for protection. In the chaos, Noah showed up in his car, screeching to a halt. "Get in." They barely escaped. Part 10. Into the underground. Noah took them to a hidden bunker in Vermont, an old Cold War shelter now used by whistleblowers and dissidents. There, they met Maya Lin, a cybersecurity genius who'd once worked for the NSA before disappearing into the underground resistance. "You stirred a hornet's nest," Maya said. "But if you're ready to go all the way, I can help." Jason gave her the Project Phoenix files. Maya decrypted more layers. Files on illegal biometric tracking, mind control experiments, and illegal operations in foreign countries. Emily stared at one document in disbelief. They ran tests on children. Jason's jaw tightened. "We have to bring this down. All of it." Part 11. The broadcast plan. With Maya's help, they planned a global broadcast. The files would be uploaded to thousands of nodes simultaneously. No way to stop them all. But they needed one final key stored inside the Pentagon's secure servers. Only one person had access: Senator Gerald Whitaker, head of the Intelligence Committee. And Jason had a plan to get to him. Part 12. Confronting the senator. At a charity gala in New York City, Jason disguised himself as a staff photographer. Emily, in a sleek black dress, pretended to be a PR intern. Inside the ballroom, they spotted Senator Whitaker surrounded by military officials and donors. Emily approached him with a fake press pass. "Senator, a few words about national security reform?" He smiled. "Of course." While he spoke, Jason cloned the senator's access badge with a device hidden in his camera. 10 seconds later, they were gone. Part 13. Pentagon infiltration. Using the badge, they entered a secure access point in Virginia with Maya, guiding them remotely. They reached the server room, but were spotted. An alarm blared. Emily uploaded the files as Jason held the door, locking it behind him. "Go," he shouted. She hesitated, tears in her eyes. "I'm not leaving you." Jason smiled. "You have to finish this." He slammed the emergency release. She ran. Moments later, Unit 17 swarmed the building. Jason was captured. Part 14. Emily's Escape. Emily reached Maya, breathless and shaking. The upload was complete, but Jason was gone. "They have him," she said. "Then we get him back," Maya replied. They contacted Noah and launched a media blitz. Emily went public, appearing on live streams, news shows, podcasts, telling their story. The public outcry was enormous. People protested in the streets, demanding Jason's release. Part 15. Captive and Defiant. Jason sat in an undisclosed military facility, interrogated for hours by faceless agents. They offered him deals, threats, promises of safety, but he said nothing. Until one morning, he was brought to a courtroom. His trial was to be public. The government had no choice. The world was watching. Part 16. The Trial of the Century. The trial was broadcast live. The prosecution called Jason a traitor. Emily took the stand again. "He's not a traitor. He's a patriot." The judge listened carefully. Then something unexpected happened. A whistleblower from inside Unit 17 testified anonymously, confirming everything Jason had leaked and exposing even more crimes. The courtroom gasped. Part 17. Collapse of the program. Senator Whitaker resigned. Unit 17 was dismantled. Multiple arrests were made. The nation was shaken. The Project Phoenix program was officially shut down, its name forever stained by abuse and corruption. Jason was released with full immunity. The crowd outside the courthouse erupted into cheers. Part 18. A New Beginning. Emily and Jason moved to a quiet coastal town in Oregon. They weren't hiding, just breathing. Together with Maya and Noah, they launched a foundation. The Light Project focused on transparency, tech ethics, and protecting whistleblowers worldwide. Emily gave lectures at universities. Jason counseled former agents who wanted to come clean. Part 19. Unfinished Business. One night, Jason received an anonymous package. Inside, a flash drive. Maya scanned it. One phrase popped up. "Phoenix never dies." Jason stared at the screen. "It's not over." Emily placed her hand on his shoulder. "Then we keep fighting." Part 20. The Legacy. Years later, their story was taught in schools. Books were written. Films made. Emily Carter and Jason Miller became symbols of truth against power. Not because they wanted fame, but because they believed someone had to stand up. And when asked what she remembered most, Emily always said, "It started with a knock on my door. The night I decided to open it changed everything." Part 21. The Signal. A month after receiving the mysterious flash drive labeled "Phoenix Never Dies," Maya traced the origin of the data packet. It had been bounced through dozens of proxies, but the final trail ended in an abandoned military lab in Alaska. "This wasn't just a warning," Maya said. "It was an invitation." Jason leaned back, staring at the screen. "Phoenix isn't dead. It's hiding." Part 22. Back into the Shadows. Emily and Jason traveled to Alaska with Maya and Noah, using fake IDs. The facility was buried under snow, inactive since the Cold War. But inside, they found functioning servers, still warm. On one screen, a blinking message awaited. "You killed the head. The body lives." Unit 17 was only a shell. Meet the Ember Protocol. Encrypted files filled the servers. Maya downloaded everything, but a silent alarm was triggered. Drones activated overhead. The team barely escaped. Back at their safe house, they decrypted the files and discovered that the Ember Protocol was an international black ops network, hidden in plain sight, funded by both private tech giants and rogue elements within global governments. Part 23. Ghosts of the Past. The files listed names, dozens of politicians, scientists, CEOs, and military leaders from around the world. But one name shocked them most. Elise Roman, the former commander of Unit 17, presumed dead. She's alive, Jason whispered. And she's building something bigger. Part 24, The Countdown. Among the data was a project titled Echo, scheduled to launch in 90 days. It involves satellite-based surveillance, AI-powered social manipulation, and predictive policing, a system that could anticipate behavior and arrest people before crimes occurred. Emily looked pale. It's Minority Report, but real. They knew what had to be done. This wasn't just a leak. It would require sabotage from within. Part 25, The Infiltration Team. They assembled a team. Maya for digital ops. Noah for media leverage. Jason for systems breach. Emily, now trained in field operations, to infiltrate Echo's facility. They also enlisted Dr. Lena Alvarez, a former ethics officer turned rogue scientist who had helped build part of Echo before fleeing. Lena had one condition. If I help you stop this, you burn it all. No backups. No second chances. Part 26, Training and Tension. The team trained in a hidden base in Montana. Emily learned lock-picking, Jason sharpened his firearm skills, and Maya designed an AI counterprogram called Silence to disable Echo from the inside. As the date neared, tension grew between Jason and Emily. We've been running for years, she said. What if we don't make it this time? Then we go down doing something that matters. They kissed that night, perhaps for the last time. Part 27, Into the Lion's Den. The Echo facility was located deep under a secure tech campus in Switzerland, disguised as a think tank. Emily and Jason entered under forged credentials. Meanwhile, Maya and Noah coordinated from a van nearby. Lena guided them through biometric locks, using old, but a silent alarm was triggered. But something went wrong. Part 28, Elise returns. Elise Roman appeared on screen. Did you really think I wouldn't be watching? The facility locked down. Gas vents activated. Guards swarmed. Emily fought through with precision, using smoke as cover. Jason clutched the hard drive with the last of the Echo code. They made it to the rooftop as a chopper arrived, piloted by Lena. As they lifted off, explosions rocked the facility. Maya had detonated the AI core remotely. But Elise escaped. Part 29, A New Face of Evil. From a private compound in Dubai, Elise Roman announced the Ember Initiative, a global network of security alliances using surveillance for peace and order. She was praised by authoritarian regimes, sanctioned by democratic governments, and protected by corporate interest. The world was being divided, freedom versus control. Part 30, Division. The U.S. government issued a mixed statement. Some wanted Jason and Emily arrested. Others offered support. Emily was invited to speak before the United Nations. Her speech became one of the most viewed in history. Security without freedom is slavery. Information without ethics is a weapon. We must choose light over control, transparency over fear. Crowds erupted in support, but Elise responded by leaking false data to discredit Emily. Their foundation, the Light Project, was under siege. Part 31, The Underground Awakens. Whistleblowers began contacting them. From Argentina, from South Korea, from Kenya, from Berlin. A worldwide underground formed. A resistance movement of journalists, hackers, rogue agents, teachers, students, and even former Echo engineers. They called themselves the Ember Breakers. Part 32, Betrayal Within. One of their own, Noah Green, was compromised. Blackmailed by Elise, he planted malware into Maya's system. Emily found out and confronted him. I didn't want to. They threatened my family, he said. Jason turned away, furious. Emily spared him, but exiled him from the team. Part 33, The Cyber War. Elise launched a massive cyber attack. Cities lost power. Emergency services collapsed. Chaos spread. Maya fought back, creating Echolock, a firewall that protected the Ember Breakers' global network. Jason led digital offensives. Emily went to Congress and demanded formal hearings against the Ember Initiative. Part 34, Elise's final weapon. It was called Black Veil, an AI that could impersonate anyone's voice, face, and identity in real time. With it, Elise created fake videos of world leaders declaring war, fake scandals, and public confusion. Society fractured. Emily, Jason, and Maya raced to develop a quantum-proof AI called Lightcore to counter Black Veil. Part 35, The Assassination Attempt. At a public conference in London, Emily was scheduled to speak. A sniper took aim. Jason tackled her moments before the shot rang out. He was badly. Emily held him, blood soaking her dress. Stay with me, please. Jason's last words before blacking out. Finish it, for all of us. Part 36, The Final Upload. With Jason in critical condition, Maya and Emily launched the final counterattack. Using Lightcore, they exposed Black Veil's code in real time, showing millions of viewers how Elise manipulated the world. United Nations declared a global emergency. Multiple governments arrested Ember operatives. Part 37. The Fall of Elise Roman. Emily tracked Elise to a compound in northern Iceland. She faced her one-on-one. You built control from fear, Emily said. And you built chaos with your hope, Elise replied. They fought fiercely. In the end, Emily activated a frequency jammer built by Maya. Elise's neural implant malfunctioned, and she collapsed. Part 38. Jason wakes up. In a quiet hospital in Geneva, Jason opened his eyes. Emily sat beside him, holding his hand. You're back, she whispered. He smiled weakly. You didn't burn the world. You lit it up. Part 39. A New Era. With Elise gone and Black Veil dismantled, a global coalition created the Digital Ethics Charter, guided by the Light Project. Emily and Jason became international advisors. Maya began teaching again. Lena returned to her lab to build ethical AI. Part 40, Legacy. Years later, Emily and Jason's daughter, Lena Carter Miller, stood on the same courthouse steps her parents once did. She had just published her first book, Midnight Rescue, The Fight for the Soul of the Digital Age. And as the sun set behind her, she whispered to herself. It all started with a knock at the door.